$5,000 is a lot of money, period. It is a huge amount of money to spend on handbags. I am very aware of this. However, in the context of luxury handbags, $5,000 does not stretch very far. Even before the price increase, a Chanel boy bag in the new medium size came in at $5,500. And honestly, it hurts my poor graduate student soul to even think about how much that same bag will cost when the boutiques reopen. In this video, I've devised a challenge for myself. If I had $5,000 to build a luxury handbag collection, starting from nothing, what would it look like? Since my wardrobe would ideally have more than 2 or 3 total items, I realized that the pre-loved market was the way to go, and I turned to Fashionphile. For those not familiar, Fashionphile is a resale site for designer accessories, and everything I'm showing in this video was available at the time I was putting this together, which was the Friday night before this. Now that I've talked for ages, let's start out with our first category, work bags. I wanted bigger bags, one that could fit documents, a tablet, or maybe even a small laptop. My first pick was this beautiful, soft blue Prada Tote. I love the color on this bag. It's close enough to gray that it feels like a neutral, but that hint of blue keeps it interesting. The gold hardware really pops against the cooler leather. The versatility that comes from having the longer, detachable strap is definitely a selling point for me. I can see myself wearing this bag both ways. You'll notice throughout that some of these bags have some pretty obvious signs of wear, like fading on the corners, small scratches on the hardware, or a bend to the leather, like this bag. As long as the faults are fairly minor, I don't really care. I try to be careful with my possessions, but this fantasy me also wants to get good use out of these bags, and in the course of that, wear and accidents will happen. If my bag would have similar damage in a few weeks or months anyway, I'm more than happy to pay less and receive it with a little wear and tear. Little bags, let's move on to the Stella McCartney Falabella Bag. It's less dressy than the Prada Tote, but I think this could work for a more casual office job, as well as transition into a really cute shopping bag on the weekend. This bag has very little structure to it, so it could fit some bigger, bulkier, or more oddly shaped items than any of the other bags I picked. The Falabella bag is one of the few really unstructured bags that I like the look of, both full and practically empty. The pink is what drew me to this bag, but it's reversible, and I think the beige bag with pink stitching detail is pretty cute as well. I wish the inner bag was pink, but it'll always be inside the tote, so that isn't a huge deal one way or the other. It is nice that they've included that pouch. I love the look of the open tote, but I can't stand the idea that someone could just reach in and grab my things. Oh, I really like this bag. I'm not in the market for a designer handbag, but if I was, I'd really consider this. I think I mentioned earlier that I love color and options. That brings us to this Prada bag. I think the Cingale, I hope I'm saying that right, is an older style, though I'm definitely not an expert. It's not one that I've seen before, and that's part of why I like it so much. The shape is so unique, yet very businesslike and classic feeling, but that orange really makes it stand out. Google Translate tells me that the shade name, Aragosta, translates to lobster, and that's a great description for the color. This is such an interesting bag. I would really love to see people wearing it, and in this case, people is me. I promise that this is the last bigger or work bag. Who doesn't love a classic? This Louis Vuitton Alma PM is a stunning fire engine red. The texture of the epi leather is very eye-catching, and it lends a lot of dimension to the bag. I do worry a little about this bag being too heavy, especially as it doesn't have a shoulder strap. Oh well, beauty is pain. We'll hop from one extreme to the other and talk about clutches. Again, color and options. But as I have a very limited number of occasions where I would use a clutch, I've restricted myself to 2. The first is this Valentino Clutch in this stunning blue. Maybe this is just wishful thinking, but I feel like this might be even more vibrant, almost an Yves Klein blue in real life. The handle is an interesting detail, and I think it might make this a little more user-friendly than a more straightforward pouch or envelope-like clutch of a similar size. I really like how this doesn't have any hardware, so I wouldn't feel limited in the jewelry I wore with it. This bag is so understated, but it keeps getting more and more interesting as I look at it. Really a lovely piece. It's also a nice size. I don't really have any use for a bag that can't hold my phone, a card holder, and my keys, at least. The second clutch I've selected is this stained glass clutch from Bottega Veneta. I love how there's just a little weaving. It's Bottega, and it feels like it, but I'm not quite sold on most of their entirely woven bags. And as always, I appreciate the color, and they're just beautiful on this bag. I'm only rarely a solid black bag kind of girl, but if I felt the need, I could just turn this bag around. It wouldn't open on the correct side, but it's still cute. I have some pretty strong reservations about actual snakeskin, and honestly kind of leather in general. But this is pre-owned, so I think I would feel more okay about it. Also, I'm not actually purchasing anything, so I'm not going to worry about it being too much. I'm still not sure about the idea of practically touching a snake. I'm shuddering just thinking about it, actually, so we need to move on. The only other black bag I've picked out is this beaded Prada Crossbody. I think I could really dress this up or go a little more boho with it. This reads as a black bag, but if you look closer, you can see that there are green and gold beads in there as well. It's very textural and interesting, and this is another bag that feels timeless without being predictable, and I could see myself using this for decades. Fair warning, you're going to see 3 more crossbodies. I just really love them, alright? They're easy to wear and easy to access, and I know from experience that I just don't get enough use out of other styles for everyday wear. This Broxy Princess Schuler crossbody comes in a very grayish green. It's quite a neutral color, and I think this would go with pretty much anything in my wardrobe. I like how the shade could go with both black and brown. The strap's adjustable, which is always a bonus. Rounding out my neutral, but not too neutral, crossbodies, we have another foray into the Stella McCartney Falabella line. It's edgy and cool, and I love the texture of the croc embossing against the stark, white, vegan faux leather. The black, white, and silver give this a definite graphic edge. I originally thought that this would be hard to get into because of how structured it is, but the zipper extends from base to base, and it looks like it'll open up pretty far. Finally, we get to the end of the crossbodies, and to my most obnoxiously colorful choice yet, this purple and gold bag from Marc Jacobs. The logo on this is pretty big, but for some reason I don't really mind it on this bag. Maybe it's because I had no idea that this was the Marc Jacobs logo, and at first thought it was just an oval. I realize that this is kind of a hard bag to match to an outfit, but I think this would look great with my very casual weekend wardrobe. I'm kind of surprised that this is the only camera bag I chose, because I love this shape. What really drew me to this bag is the strap. It's detachable and adjustable, and I could mix and match it with the other bags I've picked. Definitely the white Stella McCartney, and I could probably jury rig a way to attach it to the beaded Chloe bag to dress down an outfit as well. Maybe I tried on the orange Prada and the red Alma bags if I wanted to use them as a crossbody. I love the look of the guitar strap, and I wouldn't be able to pick up a designer guitar strap for less than that $270 price tag. And finally, I chose a wallet to round out my collection. The Fendi Wallet's a nice size, and if I kept my cards pretty minimal, I suspect that I could stick my phone in it if I didn't feel like bringing a purse along that day. Wallets are more about function than aesthetics for me, but I do really like this bird design. Not sure I'd want it as a bag, but it's cute on something this small. That's it. Let's go over what I chose. 10 bags, which breaks into 2 clutches, 4 larger bags, and 4 crossbodies. I didn't quite make a rainbow, but I managed to hit several colors: pink, red, orange, green, blue, and purple. 2 blue bags, actually, but in very different blues. And I've got black, white, and beige covered as well. I also got a wallet. The grand total comes to $49.85, just short of my $5,000 budget. And I think that this is a collection that I could love and be very satisfied with for a very long time. There are definitely plenty of options. And there's my fantasy haul. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my choices. Like and subscribe if you would like to see more fashion and beauty content, and goodbye.